Om. Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvanavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramanandamadhavam paramanandamadhavam. Hari Om. So we will just chant the verses. Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigrihitani sarvashah indriyani indriyatebhyah tasya prajna pratishtitah. Then the next one. Ya nisha sarvabhutanam tasya jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. So we had seen this verse, right? These two verses. Also, of course, the 67th verse where it says that it is the indriyas. So wherever that mind is drawn by the indriyas, if the mind obediently goes into that, then the mind is lost. Then then there is no control over that kind of a mind. Then the mind will be taken for a ride by the indriyas, right? And with that, what will also go away is my sense of my sense of discrimination, or my sense of viveka, or the educated intellect which will otherwise be exercising the decision making capability. It will no longer have any kind of sway over what is happening over there, right? Because already the mind has come under the sway of the senses and is lost over there, right? Like how? Like a boat which is, say, suppose if it is unmanned and it is left to the winds to carry it away, then it will be tossed around in the waters and it won't be, one can then have no kind of control over it, right? So whereas what does it then mean in a contrary way is that when a person is alert to the ways of the senses, is aware where are the weaknesses in one's own character, in one's own pull towards the senses, or not just the senses, but where my vasanas are definitely having a deep thread, and given the opportunity, my senses will definitely go away with those desires. Then there, unless I alertly have a firm say as to whether my mind should go forth with the senses or no, there alone will I be able to exert that control. For that, what is important, as we said in the earlier verse, is that the Dhamma has to be in practice before. And for that Dhamma to, Dhamma as in sense control, that sense control or the organ control has to be in practice from before. That sadhana, that abhyasa has to be very strong, for Arjuna, to be in the battlefield in such a way that when the target is clearly in front of him, then he is never going to give in to any kind of weakness. Even if like nowadays what is happening is like, okay, just one insect bite, or one mosquito bite, one will be so disturbed that they will not be able to concentrate on their work, right? Whereas for a disciplined warrior like Arjuna, no kind of disturbance, be it at a physical level or be it at the mental level, is going to in any way disturb him. That focus is never going to be lost. So be it anyone calling him any kind of names mentally also, or anyone giving him any kind of threat, it will not affect him when he knows that this is all a trick. This is all a trick to gain my or take away my attention from my target, right? Whereas if he were such a weak warrior and there was no control over his senses or no control over therefore also the mind, then it would have been very simple and easy for Duryodhana to have a win over him, right? So therefore here what again Bhagavan is doing is, in the battlefield alone he is telling him that you are not somewhere sitting as a recluse, or you're not sitting somewhere as a person who has given up or done tyaga of samsara and gone and sat somewhere in isolation. Here you are in a field where your senses are going to be actively engaged, and in such a field what is most important is that knowledge has to be clear and strong, right? That dhamma which is going to come about is going to come about very sahaj, very easily. Why? Because that knowledge is very clearly entrenched into that kind of a mind who knows what is the reality and what is mithya, what is illusory. So for that kind of a mind, then exercising that control will not be difficult. Having that discrimination in place will not be a problem, right? So here of course giving the example of the boat in the waters where the winds are strong, and the boat can be carried away by those winds, right? Unless the person who is wielding those sails is having the right presence of mind and knows which direction the wind is blowing, and accordingly will steer the boat in the right way. Okay, so that prajna has to be so strong that no wind can rob it, okay, can rob the boat of its control, right? So tadasya harati prajna vayurnava mibhamasi. But the one who is weak, the one who is not having any control over the mind and the senses, that person's prajna will be robbed just like that. One temptation and that's it. Whatever Shravanam has done is gone. Whatever Manana has done is gone. Whatever sadhana has been put, that too has been taken away. So then that is going to lead to a fall only. This is what he is saying here in this verse. And therefore he says, Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigrihitani sarvashah indriyani indriyarthebhyah tasya prajna pratishta. Therefore, what should you do, Arjuna? Is that have a steady control. One is that you have your prajna completely in place, firmly in place, and have that conviction that that is the only thing that matters. Whereas indriyas, what will the senses do? Senses have to be, they are something that are there for your use. They are your instrument. So that instrument is how? That instrument is such that you have to be in control of it, not that it overtakes you in whatever you are doing or overpowers you in whatever you are doing. So therefore, what should one do? One is be completely completely immersed in that knowledge. Completely immersed as in have that pradnya firmly in place in your consciousness. Not that, every time it has to be a reminder. It should be something that is owned up as my own, right? Just as right now, if someone calls out my name, I will immediately respond. So to this pradnya, that of being that Brahman, right? That of being that Ekameva Advitiya Satchitananda, that should be firmly in place, right? So therefore then these instruments, that is these indriyas, they are not then going to overpower me in any way. They are just a means to whatever transactions in this world, right? They are my access to the world, but they are not that reality. That has to be clear to me. So then therefore then he says, for such a person, how is it that he moves about in the world? What is it? What is the kind of life that this kind of a person has, whose pradnya is very pratishtita, is steadily there and is never robbed of its wisdom. So such a person, what happens to such a person? So here he says that yanisha sarva bhutani sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami tasyam yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. So this jnani, what is he awake to? The jnani is awake to the truth. He is awake to the truth. Which truth? That truth to which the rest of the public is asleep to. Where others are completely unaware of, or even if they are aware, what has happened? It is just a knowledge which comes and goes. It is not something which is steadily there in my conscious mind, right? So contrary to that, for a jnani, what is he asleep to then? What is given in the first line? Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sayami, right? That which is for, if you look at the rest of the world, how are they? Rest of the world, yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. So that vyavahar in which the rest of the world, they are completely entrenched in it, right? If you look at any even a business person, right? Especially those who are having a direct consumer business. So what are they? They know the figures just like that, or they know if something is amiss somewhere, or they know whatever calculation is going wrong in their business, or anything is going down. I mean, even if you look at some person who's engaging in the stocks, they are all the time, aware of the ups and downs, and accordingly they will also make, they will also advise when to buy, when to sell, etc., right? So such kind of transactions, they are so alert and awake to that nothing will go amiss for them. So such transactions, such vyavahar, this jnani, how is he? He is to it, he is asleep. He says that doesn't matter to me, kind of, It's not that he is asleep to it, but it is not having any kind of priority in his life. Because what has happened for this sage, when this sage, what has happened for him? He is become carefree, not careless, but he has become carefree or indifferent of such kind of knowledge or such kind of transactions. This kind of vyavahar, it doesn't any longer matter to him. So, why is that so, one might wonder? Isn't he living in the world? Sure, he is living in the world, but for him, he knows that this is all is illusory, right? So for the person who is engaged in this business and is thinking it to be real, for that person, even a small loss is like the end of the world, right? But for that jnani, he knows that the world itself is not real. So it is as good as not there for him. So for him it doesn't matter whether something is there or something is not there. Something has skyrocketed or something has completely gone down in doldrums. He's not really, in fact, if we remember, there is this game called Monopoly, right? Maybe as kids we might have played it, etc. And you also kind of trade over there, and you also buy, and you use this false money, right? So even in that game, what happens is, because of the competitiveness, you give a kind of a reality to it. But then after all, you know that this is not real. So even if you earned something, right, even if you have got some kind of a gain from it, or you bought some kind of land or property, etc. and all, though you might give it a bit of reality in that, you know that it is false, right? Just imagine, for this jnani, the world is as false as that game of Monopoly. So for him it doesn't matter whether he has a huge he has got a huge gain, or whether it has become a huge loss. It just doesn't matter to him, right? Because at the end of the day, for him, the world is but a mithya. Now that mithyatva buddhi is what is controlling his operations in the world, his transactions in the world, his vyavahar in the world. It is much more stronger that the world is not there at all. What matters to him is that the Lord is real for him. The Bhagwan himself is real, right? That is much more of much more of providence for him, so that when it comes to any other kind of criticism, any other kind of loss, any other kind of status in the world, it is not going to do any kind of gain or loss for him, right? So what is a litmus test for such a jnani, whether he has attained that awareness or no? The litmus test is said to be vairagya. How much is he able to withdraw from the world? And it is not to show anyone, okay? This is for that jnani itself, that where has he reached on that spiritual path, on that journey unto himself, where has the person reached? So vairagya is that litmus test, right? So be it whatever joy that one might have derived from any object, any person, any situation, that no longer is binding to him, that no longer is of any kind of appeal to him, because he knows that it is not really real. What matters then is that abiding in that knowledge, and abiding in the knowledge means what? He no longer has any kind of preoccupations which will take him away from this knowledge, which will make him forget what his true identity is, right? He is not robbed of his identity, that of being that Sat, that of being that Chit. That is never ever taken away from him, because now that has become his reality. He doesn't have to remind himself through any kind of further sadhana or anything. The moment wherever he is looking, whatever he is doing, he knows that it is a reminder of that manifestation of that reality, which is his own identity itself. So that has become very strong for him. So to engage further in anything is no longer a priority for him. It is no longer having that kind of appeal, right? So therefore, what is said is that he is now woken up to that knowledge, where earlier he was doing a lot of sadhana towards abidance. Now he has woken up to that knowledge, right? And he has the choice whether to engage or to withdraw. That has become completely it is something which is his own prerogative. It is not that he has to withdraw completely. If he wants to, he can still engage, right? It is because he knows that it is not going to in any way harm his knowledge. When he knows for sure that he has that vairagya, when he knows that mithyatva buddhi is much more strongly in place than any kind of appeal towards any vishayas, right? But for a sadhaka, what is it? How will the sadhaka, for a seeker like any of us, how will this matter? So for the seeker, one is that, when we are engaging in any kind of transactions, when we are into any kind of vyavahara, we have to be cautious, right? Because if we have been doing a lot of sadhana, what have we been doing this sadhana towards? We have been doing this sadhana. One is like, in the beginning stages, what is it for? It is for that chitta shuddhi and chitta ekagrata, right? And further as we go along with it, as we said, where the sadhana is not just japa and other sadhanas, but here the sadhana is in terms of toning down being alert to our preferences, our raga dvesha, where we are living that alert life of karma yoga. Then further, what is it? That the gain over that we are looking for is that mana prasada, right? That shanta, that shanta vritti, where I am not in agitation towards acquiring something or losing something, right? Where there is no kind of envy, there is no kind of negativities, whereas only what prevails is a kind of a prasannata, where there is this sanctity there, where there is peace over there. That is what I am trying to maintain. That prasada, mana prasada is what I am looking for, right? So this mana prasada, as well as what we say is the mithyatva buddhi, right? That has to be matched, in the sense what? Where I know that the world is mithya, that has become a strong pradnya for me. That pradnya of one is that I have to assert that that I am that Satchitananda, I am that reality. Second is that parallelly, what do I have to do? I have to negate that world as mithya. So when this has come into place very, very properly, when that pradnya has become completely pratishtita, where I don't have to struggle with it, I don't have to strive with it, then the mana prasadatva has become a result of that only, right? So when these two are in place, then my transactional world will be something which I can switch back and forth with. It is not something that will completely draw me in or make me fall. But till that time, what do I have to do? Till that time, I have to continue my sadhana. One is of course the bahiranga sadhana has to go on till I gain some kind of shuddhi, right? And then further the antaranga sadhana of shravana manana, so that the knowledge which I am acquiring is also doubt free, right? And only then can I go towards that nidhi dhyasana, where now what I have to do is whatever erroneous thoughts are there, whatever knowledge from my earlier lifetimes in fact, which might encroach and say that this knowledge that I have now got very clearly through Shravana and Manana, that might fail to convince me, that might fail to let me ease into it very, very clearly. So to negate those erroneous notions, what do I have to do? I have to practice dhyana, right? So that part, it will when it again comes strongly, only then that pradnya will be pratishtita. Only then will that pradnya come very easily to me. So will be conscious part of my thinking. So to such a person, what then becomes, right? So for such a person, the contentment is something that becomes of ease. It is not something that he has to strive to attain from conscious thinking or observing life, it is just an ease. Contentment is what becomes his inherent nature. Okay. So in the next verse he says, Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapah pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantimapnoti na kamakami. Again I will chant. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapah pravashanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantimapnoti na kamakami. So here he says that how is this person, this contentment, this particular verse is marking the content nature of that jnani. Okay, how is he that, how is it that this, in line with the thought which was going on, where, Arjuna might have asked Bhagwan ki, what is the nature of such a person? How does he live in the world? So this is again earmarking ki, how is the nature of this person? This person is someone who is living a life of contentment. He doesn't have anything that he seeks outside, nor does he go away from something. Whatever comes, he is open to it. So here the example is given of what? Example is given of rivers and the ocean. Okay, and then it is related to this jnani. So let me again tell what it is. So apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudram apash pravishanti yadvat. So here that example, right, of the rivers. The rivers waters, how do they enter the ocean? They never really, wait for a protocol. Ki, okay, right now this river will enter, then the next one will enter. Or let's wait for a signal from the ocean. Will it say, yes, now you can come? Or no, you have to wait for another month. No such protocol is present in nature. Nature is, even though such a protocol is not in place, but yet, nature is something which has its own governance, and everything happens in the right time and at the right place. So here also, when the example of the ocean is given, the ocean is how that ocean is completely open to whatever is entering it. It is not going to reject those waters, right? Not going to reject those waters or those rivulets which are coming and emptying themselves into it, nor is it, going and checking which rivulets are not coming to it. It is not saying ki this river, it should come in, that river, it should not come in. No such thing, no such system is in place. It is just, it is just welcoming to whatever comes into it. So too, if we see that if in spite of the Vishayas, in spite of whatever sense objects, they are present around this Muni, this Jnani, right? In spite of them being around him at all times, this Jnani is as though unperturbed. He is neither running after anything, neither striving to acquire anything, nor is he, saying, trying to exercise some kind of control over himself, saying that I should stay away from this, right? He is just, if something is coming, let it come. If something is going, let it go, right? So how is he? He is at all times, he is at peace. So shantim apnoti, right? Why? Because, he is already in that mindset where he knows that he is fulfilled. There is nothing that is going to make him feel more complete than he already is. Or nor is there going to be any kind of loss that he is going to face by anything going away from him, right? He is Purna, and that Purnatva is what he is he is most content about. He is not really seeking anything, nor is he going away from anything. So he is fully in that way complete Purna, right? Unlike whom? Unlike na kama kami, right? Unlike those people in the world who are forever seeking some or the other joy, and are feeling as if they are missing out on something if they don't engage in some kind of activity, right? Why? Because their desire signals are always open. So they are not, it is as though, something new is coming in. Oh, I better participate in this because like how they say now, there is a fear of missing out, right? I don't have to have this FOMO. So therefore, I should experience that. Something has come new, definitely I should go for it. So whereas for this jnani, it is how it just doesn't matter, because what is clear to him, the knowledge that this world is mithya is very, very clear to this jnani. So when the world is mithya, what then is real is that truth alone is real. That truth that he is Purna, right? And he's operating out of it, and all that is seen, all that is visible is nothing but a illusion. The transactional world for him no longer has any kind of appeal. So even if he has to engage in the world, it is not for some kind of a fulfillment that he is looking for. In fact, he knows that this is not going to in any way increase his property, or increase his wealth, or increase his self-worth, because he knows what his self-worth is. He knows what his identity is, right? So this jnani, even if he is introduced to any kind of vishayas, any kind of objects, he is kind of indifferent to them. He is not going to fall for anything. So this is because he is all the time trupta. So and then there is this incident of Gurudev, where a young boy, a teenager, he was looking at Gurudev, and he was saying that, oh, it must be so much fun being you, because you are going from home to home and there are so many bhikshas offered, etc. You will be enjoying every day. A new variety is coming to you. Your favorite things are being served to you, right? Wherever you go, you are given the best. So it will be so much fun. So Gurudev tells him, okay, fine. Tomorrow you come, first class is the Upanishad class. So, first you come for the meditation. Then after that, there is one bhiksha. Then we go to another place and there is a Upanishad class. We'll do that. Then there is an inauguration. Then we go to another place. So he says, the morning you can come and spend with me. So they go, and he realizes that right after, the meditation class, Gurudev is taken to one home and he's offered bhiksha. And, so this boy, he is very happy because he's with Gurudev. So he is getting this nice opportunity to have very sumptuous, delicious bhiksha. So he eats to his full, and then then they go to another place, and after an hour they reach there. Then there again, Gurudev has to give a talk, speak on the Upanishad, and then again he's taken for another bhiksha. Then the boy realizes, oh, I shouldn't have eaten so much, right? Because here is another spread of the best, and then he realizes, like this, another two await Gurudev. So that jnani is not a bhogi, he knows that he has his vairagya in place very much. So why? Because he knows that this bhoga is nothing but a roga only, okay? Because it is not going to appease him in any way. What he is doing is purely for the transactional world, right? At no place was he, telling any of the hosts that no, I will not have, or he is not in any way making them unhappy or anything. He is doing that, he is doing that through manaprasada, he is not doing to acquire more in any way or appease any kind of hunger or any kind of spruha in terms of, any kind of longing. No, he is operating purely out of vairagya. Yeah, so is this Mahatma, right? And here we have to also understand that whereas earlier if we had seen that Bhagavan was talking of how one has to exercise Sanyama, where the sense organs are concerned or the mind is concerned. In this transactional world, we have to be able to have that balance, we have to have that equanimity. Whereas here when he is talking, he says that, how is that person, apuryamanam achila pratishtham, right? And he is not concerned, whatever vishayas are coming, he is not running after them, nor is he running away from them. He is at peace in whatever way it is coming or whatever way it is going, or not even approaching, right? So that way this jnani is, it is like, it's like how a person, a Mahatma was met by a business person, and the business person says, oh, you are wearing this nice expensive watch, I am wearing the same, what's the difference then? You are a Mahatma, means what is the difference between you and me when we are also same, in terms of the choice of gadgets, etc. So then the jnani, the next moment someone comes and he just removes his watch and he gives it to that person. So this person says that, oh, why did you do that? So then he says that, I can do that because I am in no way attached to this. Whether you can or no, that's a different thing. So maybe that is the difference between you and me, right? So here again what comes to mind is this Gurudev's quote which says, giving bestows true freedom. When we are able to give without that tug at the heart saying that, oh, but this is something that is so precious to me. I was talking to someone and they were saying, minimalism is something that we should practice. I said, very good. That's a very good sadhana to adapt to, in fact. Are we able to practice it, and to what extent? People go to Kashi and they give up something. You have to give up something that you like. When you go to Kashi, they say, give up something for your pitrus, for your ancestors, and it should be something that you like. But normally what will people do? They will give up something which is, rarely eaten, right? Like some exotic fruit which will hardly come, once a year or something like that. They'll give up that, right? Not some, like if someone like paneer, they are not going to say that I will give up paneer. No, for lifetime I'm never going to ever have paneer, or for lifetime I'm never going to have any sugar. No, people will not really do that because it is, it will take away something. But giving, truly giving up, truly elevates us, truly gives us that freedom. So if we are able to detach in such a way with that vairagya buddhi, then it is, talking about our spiritual progress. So here too, when we are speaking, this Vishaya Sukha has become so much a part of our life that we are not able to curb our demand, be it that of the senses, be it that of the mind. Now it might not even be food, it might be something like gadgets, where people are saying, okay, me time means being on the phone, right? So this, if we are able to bring in this kind of vairagya, knowing that which is false, little by little, if I am able to give up. So even this minimalism that people talk of, how much are we able to practice? right? To what extent are we able to practice? More than, now upavas, when they say, earlier people used to talk of in terms of food, that, I will not eat or whatever. But what is true upavas is? True upavas is being close to that reality or that truth, which is signified, maybe by my guru, which is signified by the learnings that I have got or the wisdom that I have got, which could be even a text, which could also be, doing that sadhana of jnana, or remembering those truths and abiding in that. That is true upavasa. But if we are able to take it, practice it in such a way that we are away from even say our gadgets, then that is some achievement to begin with, right? So this, Vishaya Sukha is something which we should be able to step away from. At least for some time during the day, if we are able to consciously do that, then it will help us go more towards that jnana. So one is to negate something and the other is to assert, because the mind also needs to hold on to something, right? Whereas for that jnani, how is it? The jnani is whom we speak of in that 70th verse, okay? And the jnani is the one who is already established in that reality, such that, he knows that mithya world is not going to matter to him in any way, right? So then if we want to ask Bhagavan, is there any step-by-step process that you will recommend? Then in the next verse, Bhagavan says, in the 71st verse, he says, Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumans charati nispruhaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashantim adhigacchati. Again I'll chant. Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumans charati nispruhaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashantim adhigacchati. So here are, if we wanted to know how to go about it step by step, so one is to understand, where am I stuck? What is it that is keeping me in this samsara, or which is keeping me away from my shanti? So here first one, he says is, first step is what? Vihaya kaman yas sarvan. Yaha sarvan kaman vihaya. One who is able to drop all desire to possess anything, Kaman, so here that kaman over there is talking of those objects which I do not have, that which I do not have and I wish to acquire. So if I am able to let go of the desire, the moment something new comes into my view, right, of my senses, if I am able to say, no, this is something I do not want at all, so let me just not go towards it, right? So that is one step. So vihaya kaman, where I am able to let go of that thought to gain possession of something that I do not have, right? That is the first step. Then next one is what? Next one he says, puman charati nispruhaha. So one is when I get the desire for something that I do not have, where I say that, oh, this I don't have, right? Then, when I think about it, what happens is a longing for it develops in my mind, right? That is that spruha, right? That spruha comes about when I say that, oh, this is going to make me feel happy. This is going to give me that kind of satisfaction which I did not have before. This is of a better version than what I had before. So what I was missing will now get completed if I have it. So that desire which comes, that spruha, that longing which comes, that is what this person has kept at bay, has negated. So how does he operate? he operates in the world without any kind of spruha. Puman charati nispraha. Without any kind of longing or craving, this person is operating in the world, right? And then next is what? Next is also next two are those, nirmama and nirahankaraha. Nirmama, that mamatva is not there. Mamatva is for what? Mamatva is normally for, something which is not within me, something which is outside of me. Like when I say, this is mine, yeah? This phone is mine, this laptop is mine, or the car is mine, right? Or even me saying that this body is mine. Unless of course there is also the thing where we say that I am this body, right? Then it becomes my ahankara. Okay, where I am saying that when I am claiming something as me, right? Then it becomes my ahankara, where I say that I am so and so, where where I am putting my name. I am Brahmachari Taarini. So that becomes my ahankara, right? Or I am intelligent, or I am, I am a PhD, whatever. So these things that I identify as myself, that is my ahankara. That which I think of as my identity, which I give reality to as my identity is my ahankara. Yeah. So there is where I have this ahankara, and there is also that those objects or those things or those people, whom I relate with, and I say that this is mine, this person is mine, or this object is mine. So what happens there is where I say that mamatva is there. So what exactly is there actually? That attachment is there, right? So that attachment causes all the problem, right? Where then what has happened is that there is me and there is something else, right? So then there is also that dvaita buddhi, right? Whereas what is my true nature? What is it that prajna is telling me? That prajna is telling me there is nothing other than me in this world. I alone am. All that I see is nothing but mithya, right? That which I am experiencing right now from a transactional standpoint, that all I might give reality where in the transactional world. But is it real? It is not real, right? So for this applies to whom? This applies to that jnani, right? Where he's given up on all these four. One is he has dropped all kind of thought to, all kind of desire to own something that he doesn't have, because there is no incompleteness in him. There is nothing which he thinks is not him, because he knows that everything is him alone, right? So vihaya kama, and then when there is no kama, then there is no thought of acquiring anything, then there is no longing even. Then when there is no longing for something, there is no mamatva, there is also no kind of ahankara in it. So these four is something that one has to work on, right? So when I do not have any kama, then there is no spruha, then there is no mamatva, and there is no ahankara. What then is there prevalent to occupy my mind space is the shanti. Sa shantim adhigacchati, right? So that shanti is what is fully there, right? So how is this going to be possible? So one is that that knowledge has to come into play. Now how will that knowledge come into play? When I live a life of dharma. Like Goswami ji says, right, that dharmate virati yogate jnana. So when there is a life of dharma that one lives, then what comes into play is that union with that jnana is going to be easily there. And there what will come as a result of that is that vairagya will be in place. So then I don't have to strive. Then it will, that dharmic life's reward itself will be that of, having that kind of vairagya. Then then to live a life which is fully pratishtita in that jnana will become very simple and easy, right? So here also, for the jnani, what is important is he is attuned to the thought that Jagat Mithya, and of Jagat Mithyatva as well as the Brahma is Satya. That is completely in place for him. He doesn't have to keep reminding himself. So there is no longer any kind of longing to possess anything or to own anything as his, or to strive to keep away from anything and all that is no longer an agitation for him. He is just being him. He is no longer having to strive to kind of practice any kind of dhamma or any kind of uparama and all. That has become a thing of past, because already he is established in that knowledge, and that knowledge is his main living thread that keeps him away from everything, right? So for him there is no kind of ahankara. So from the sadhana standpoint, what is it? From a sadhana standpoint, for him the Lord alone is real. Brahma Satyam is the reality, and he has surrendered the other four, the kama, the spruha, the mamatva, the ahankara. These four he has surrendered to the Lord, and he says, okay Bhagwan, now I know that you are the own reality, you are my own reality, and also you are my own support in this world. So the rest, these four, who will take care of it? You will only have to take care of it, right? So that is in place. And from the Siddhanta standpoint, what is it? From Siddhanta standpoints, in the Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, what is it? In the next verse, it is told, I will just finish that so that then we are kind of done, right? Esha Brahmi Stitif Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati Stitva Syamanta Kalepi Brahma Nirvanam Ruchati. Again I will chant. Esha Brahmi Stitif Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati Stitva Syamanta Kalepi Brahma Nirvanam Ruchati. So he says that if you are looking for any other proof, where will I reach? How will I know that I have reached that highest pedestal? So he says that this is only that which you are seeking. Where there is no longer any kind of kama, there is no longer any kind of spruha, there is no kind of mama, and there is mamatva or any kind of ahankara, where you are completely at peace. There is no one waiting to attack you in any way and cause any kind of agitation in your mind, where your knowledge is sthira, when that knowledge cannot be in any way shaken, right? That is that Brahmi Sthiti, O Partha, right? That's that which is that having reached with, there is no longer any kind of delusion to fight of, right? There is no kind of falsity waiting to overcome you. Stitva sam antakalepi, Brahma Nirvanam Ruchati, right? So he says, even if at the end of your life, if you are able to attain that state, then too what will happen? Immediately you will reach that nirvana. Not that, not that Bhagavan is telling that, wait till the end of your life to attain it. He's saying that right now, when you know that this is what you want, right now is to claim, is the time to claim it. Right now is the perfect time, in fact, to claim it. You don't have to wait, forever and ever till, if you are going to put conditions unto yourself that, when I am able to reach this level of fitness, when no longer I am, under the sway of certain desires, when I have gained mastery over all these desires, when I have learnt all the Sanskrit that I have to learn, when I am able to, do proper sandhi, etc., then I am able to decipher the words, and then I will study, and then I will then, sit in a perfect position of and no kind of disturbance in my body posture, etc. When I am perfectly there, then I will aspire to attain that Brahma Tattva. No, Bhagavan is saying right now, if your understanding is clear, when for you it becomes very clear that I don't want anything in this mithya world. This world is mithya, so what is there to seek in it? Nothing is there which can make me complete except this truth. So all that I have to do is own up this truth as myself. And that alone is sufficient. You don't have to attain that perfectness in sadhana, perfectness in yoga, perfectness in chanting something. No, right here and now, if I am able to understand that this alone is the priority in my life, I don't even have to go to certain place, high up in the mountains, etc. Wherever I am, there if I am able to gain that peace of mind, when there is no kind of spruha, when there is no kind of attachment towards anything, when there is no kind of minus and I-ness in anything, I alone am, and that understanding is as clear as one amlaka in my hand, right? Then what? Then you have reached there, right? So therefore, what is Bhagavan saying? That right now is the best time to start on your journey, right? And that journey is not something which is very long and tiring and all that. No. If you are convinced, then you are as good as there. That is what Bhagavan is saying. So what we will do is we will stop here and we will take up one summary session, okay, so that we are able to go through also, right? And if you have any doubts, okay, if you have any doubts, we can take that summary session also. But what I would then request is give me your questions beforehand so that I can also go through and prepare and come for that. Fine. I hope this has been a good set of sessions, and we'll see if we can continue the next chapter also, right? The third chapter. I will let you all know about that. Meanwhile, whatever questions you have, you can let me know. In the next week, again, I am traveling, right? Therefore, I thought that it will be better to take this session. I have got the opportunity to go to Ayodhya, so therefore I will not be there for a few days, but next week also, if we are able to on a Saturday, we can do on Saturday also. Else we will, I don't know whether Saturday will be possible, else we will do it on the next Monday after. Okay, so what I will do is, right now we will, tomorrow is Guru Purnima, so I wanted to also wish all of you a very happy Guru Purnima. Maybe pay our gratitude to that Guru Parampara, especially to Ved Vyas ji, who has wonderfully, beautifully compiled this whole Bhagavad Gita as the dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, and we are also getting the opportunity to study it thanks to our Guru Swami Chinmayanand ji, who has expounded it in such a beautiful manner, in such a relevant manner, as is applicable to us, in English even, right? Shall we close here? Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Hari Om.